So we have Trevor Smith here with us. Trevor is the Market VP for Ambulatory Care in the Desert region. Did I get that right, Trevor?
You couldn't get it wrong. You can whatever you
Okay.
want to call it.
And I'm so glad to have Trevor here with us today. I used to report to Trevor, so we have some history here. So it's great to have you with us, Trevor. And I'll turn the next few minutes over to you for the live well moments, and then you can throw it back to me when it's time for stretching, unless you want to lead it.
I will let you lead stretching because I don't think you'll
Okay.
be able to see. You have a much better. You won't be able to see my feet.
Okay.
So, as Cami said, I'm Trevor Smith. Prior to this role, I was with Intermountain Healthcare for 14 years, and really where I ended at Intermountain Healthcare was with the Live Well program and health promotion and wellness. And in that role, I got to see patients, caregivers, community members really improve their health. And it was really inspiring. I'm a boomerang. I left Intermountain for a little bit and went and did some private equity work. And now I'm back in the desert region and loving it. But, as we talk about Caregiver Appreciation Week, that time away really helped me understand how great an organization we are and how inspiring the work is that we do. So with all of that said, kind of what I thought I would share is we're going into Mother's Day, right? And so first off, happy Mother's Day to everyone on the phone, whether you are a mother, you have a mother, like it's super important. And one of the things that I'm always a huge fan of that sometimes we're not great at, right, is positive self-talk. So I always say when I used to work clinically, I would say to my patients that were fairly negative at times because their health was deteriorating. I said, if we talked to our friends how we talk to ourselves, would we have any friends? And so really thinking through that we are our own worst critics. And sometimes that inner dialogue, it really does affect our actions, our behaviors, our thoughts. And when you think about that, if I talked to my friends how I talk to myself, would I have any friends? How often do we walk by a window or a mirror and we're like, oh, I look like that today? Or you start the day off with just that negative self-talk. So we know through recent publications and psychological principles, one of the things we can do to combat that and really change that negative mindset is to, one, kind of stop and resolve right as you do it, and two, say three positive things. And I used to work with a patient. For the purposes of this conversation, let's call her Adrienne. And Adrienne was probably about 90, and she was one of the most negative folks I have ever worked with. And her husband, I swear he was a saint. He was like the nicest man ever. And in working with her, I would stop her and I'd say, Adrienne, let's say three positives. And she would usually say, I brushed my teeth today. I made it here just 5 minutes late instead of 10 minutes late, and I haven't fallen. But later on in working with her, her husband pulled me aside and said, I want you to know what an impact you've really made for me and my family with Adrienne, that she really is being more positive. She is being kinder to herself. She's being kinder to others. And she really has this attitudinal, attentional change where she is changing her mindset. Even though her health is declining and it wasn't going to get better, she is having a more positive outlook, which is making her health status so much more. So, Cami, that's my live well moment today is really let's be kind to ourselves. Let's be kind to others, but let's realize it's that ripple in the water. It starts with us. We're in charge and we're empowered for our behavior. We're in charge and we're empowered to change that behavior. And also our behavior affects everyone else around us. So we can't change everyone else, but we certainly can change ourselves.
Thank you so much, Trevor. That is a great reminder to all of us, about having some self-compassion for ourselves, but also shifting our focus to see more of the positive because we're going to only see what we look for. So if we look for the good, that's what we're going to see. So thank you so much for sharing that. Feel free to leave your camera on if you want to stretch on camera, but you certainly don't have to. You can turn it off.
I'm going to turn it off in case I fall. So if
Oh,
you
okay. All
still
right.
hear a bang, it was
Okay.
me falling.
Okay. That would be entertaining, though. All right, everyone. Let's go ahead and get up. and we're gonna start to move. Let me make sure, get my ball out of the way and everybody can see me okay. All right, find yourself some space. We're gonna start with feet together. We'll start with a little bit of mobility and then we'll get into a little more stretching. So we're gonna step to the left and move into a squat. Use your hands to support you, then step back together and then big V arms, reach back. And then step to the right, squat, step together, big V arms. And every time you do your big V arms, maybe reach back a little further. You could even start looking up a little bit. So you get a little bit more of a back bend, more chest opening. We're gonna do one more each side. And take some big breaths as well as you move. All right, go ahead and release. We're gonna step left leg back just a little way, short split stance, and then reach the right arm up, step forward and switch. So it's just alternating arm and leg, and it's opposite arm and leg are moving. We'll do this a couple more times, and then we're gonna add on a little bit. Because you guys know I like to challenge your brains at the same time as we're moving. Okay, come back to the center. So now what we're gonna do, you're gonna step back into a lunge. So let's take right leg back first. Left hand goes on your thigh. Step back to a lunge and then reach the arm up. So now it's same arm, same leg. You're using your hand for support. Step and reach. So a little bit bigger back bends. Now see if you can squeeze your back glute a little bit more on the last two. The last one right here. All right, come back together. Just shake everything out a little bit. Shake arms. Take a big inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, hands come to your thighs into a hinge. So feet can be narrow hip width apart right here. That's great. We're gonna have hands on thighs and move through some cat-cows right here. So pull your heart forward, look up a little bit, and then round through your back, tuck your tailbone under. I'm gonna do that a couple more times. Oh, let's do two more now. Big breaths. Last one's right here. And round through the back. Okay, go ahead and flatten the back out and then come all the way up. Let's move through some other cat-cow variations, but moving through our upper body mostly, so working on our upper spine, our thoracic spine. So you're gonna take hands out in front of you, make snow globe hands, round through your back, pull your shoulder blades apart, tuck the tailbone under, and then as you stand up, send your thumbs back and start to look up. Let's do that a couple more times. And if you notice any compression in your lower back, as you do that extension, just don't go as far, or squeeze your glutes a little bit more to protect your low back. Okay, this time come up, back to center. Now we're gonna turn hands so palms face back. We're gonna do the same thing, so round through the back with your palms out, and then come up and press your palms towards the back wall. A little bit different stretch there. You might notice a little more tightness in the chest and shoulders. One more like this. Okay, come back to the center. Go ahead and turn palms up, and then see if you can rotate your thumbs even back a little bit. We're gonna do the same thing. This is our last movement, our last position in this movement pattern. Just make sure your knees aren't locked either. Last one. All right, release arms, shake the arms out, roll the shoulders a few times. You might have created a little tension, so just try and release it all out. Just shake it all out. Okay, relax arms at your side and just keep them relaxed. We're just gonna do a few ear to shoulders, keeping your arms relaxed. Head back to the center. Shake it out again if you need to, if you're creating any tension, and then do a few chin to chest. Up and down. Okay, we're gonna take feet nice and wide. And let's do toes turned out a little bit actually this time. Normally I have you do them forward. We're gonna turn them out. Move side to side. Hands to support you. Notice where you're feeling the stretch at. Every time I do this, I always think, oh, there's my inner thighs. They get ignored all the time. Okay, stay to your right, and we're gonna lift the left toes. So flexing the foot. Okay, now push your hands into your thigh and start to turn your chest towards your foot. Yeah, it feels really good, right? Okay, put the foot down, switch sides. Let's pause here, find your stability first, then lift your right toes. Really flex that foot until you feel it in the whole back side of your leg. Push your hands into your thighs, start to turn your chest towards your foot. Kind of intense. Okay, put the foot down, push back to the center and bring your feet back in. Let's take feet just a little wider than hip width apart. Hands on hips and do some hip circles. Hip, lower back check-in. Normally we do these at the beginning, but we're doing it at the end today. Okay, go the other way. Make sure you're breathing. Nice big breaths. Okay, come back to the center. Maybe take your feet a touch wider. Take a big inhale, reach to the sky. Big full body stretch. Maybe even look up. And then bend your knees, hinge from the hips until you get to the ground or close to it. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Reach up. Hinge from the hips, bend your knees. 1 more time. Reach up. Big reach. Hinge and reach for the floor. Okay, go ahead and come all the way back up to standing. Shake out the legs. Last stretch right here. Big inhale. Exhale, wrap one arm under the other and bear hug, round through the back. Do it again. Big inhale. Switch the arm position this time. Round through the back. Let's do it 1 more time each side. Last one. Go ahead and come back to the center, shake it all out, and you guys are all done.